have lost. We have lost the way. And if we are spending our time in other things, indulging in ideas and actions that do not eventually lead to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we have truly lost the way. And you have seen examples of that. True happiness, and what is the outcome? Once you have a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, once you have established that connection, once you are spiritually connected to Allah, what happens? What's the outcome? The outcome is tranquility, a strange sense of sakina within your spirit. You will not be fatigued, you will not be sad, you won't be in grief. Why? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب. Is it not in the remembrance of Allah that you find tranquility of the hearts? And amazingly, wallahi, you will see that a person who is connected to Allah by choice, by his own choice, he makes effort into establishing a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will find him to be in a state of tranquility. You will find him to be in a state of peace. No matter what happens around him, no matter what happens to him, it doesn't affect him like it would affect someone else who is not connected to Allah. You see people going into depression. You see people going into grief. They start to moan, they start to complain, they start to cry about things. Why me? Why this? Why that? And this happens because they have lost the way. They have lost the understanding of the ultimate purpose they had in life, which was to establish a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you don't have a relationship with your Lord, your Creator, you will not have peace. Period. You will not have peace in life. You will go around the world, you will go the long way, and eventually you'll come to realize that Allah is the only one who is the source of peace. This is why establishing a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so important. So one way in life is to go without Allah, and even that comes in different categories. Some people completely free themselves from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because they are disbelievers. They don't even recognize Allah exists, and they live very, very depressed lives. I mean, if you look at some of the atheistic nations in this world, you will see the rate of depression. I mean, giving you empirical evidence, you will be shocked to hear this, that some of the most depressed people in the world come from atheistic nations, godless nations, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no role in the society. Not that Allah is absent, Allah is there, but they don't recognize Him. They don't see His signs. They don't submit to Him. And they are some of the most depressed people in the world. They have very short lives. We all have very, very short lives, right? And these short lives, few years, they live in depression. Even though they have all the money, all the basic necessities, and they are still not happy. You look at some of these people who have a lot of influence, a lot of fame, and yet they are not happy. They're marrying, they're divorcing, they're marrying, they're divorcing. They cannot have a relationship. They are creating rockets. They are technology tycoons. I was recently reading about this guy called Elon Musk, actually watching a documentary about him. And he is one of the most famous people in the world right now. One of the richest guys in the world. He's quite young, he's not old, he's not elderly like Bill Gates. The reason why I'm talking about him is for you to understand that if you don't have Allah in your life, and you have all the money, all the technology, all the rockets and jets and cars, he's the creator of this Tesla, right? What we see, this very advanced technology in a vehicle, right? He is the creator. I mean, he's not the creator, but he is the one who came up with this technology through his hard work. But look at his life, he's a mess. He is an absolute mess. The guy, when you listen to him talking, you know this guy is completely empty. He has no happiness. He has no relationship in his life. He could not have a proper relationship with a woman. He's going with women and he's leaving them. He's going with them and he's leaving them. And he is not happy. And in one of the interviews, he's saying, you don't have to work this hard. You don't have to work this hard to be happy. And he looks confused, even though he has what he has. So if someone like him, or someone like Bill Gates couldn't hold a woman, couldn't keep a woman with all his money and influence and wealth and power, let's say, right? Couldn't keep his wife, or Jeff Bezos. Allah is giving you signs in these people. Look at these people. All of you who spend your lives chasing money, chasing influence, chasing power, chasing fame, look at these people. Do you think you're going to get bigger than them? Do you think you will ever make it to that level? Mostly not. In most cases, no. But what are you running towards? Ya ayyuhal insan, ma gharraka bi rabbikal kareem. Ma gharraka bi rabbikal kareem. Ma gharraka bi rabbikal kareem. What is wrong with you? Oh humanity, oh humans, where are you going? Where will you end up? What are you chasing? You have turned away from your Lord. What has caused you to turn away from your Lord? These things? And look at these people who have all of this, and yet they are empty. They are near the end of their lives and they are disappointed. They're not happy. They have nothing. Allah bi dhikrillah tatma'innul qulub. Allah bi dhikrillah tatma'innul qulub. This is the reality of life. So look at these examples in front of you. And if they are not happy, they don't have izzah, they don't have peace, they don't even have their own children loyal to them. They don't have their wives' loyalty. They don't have their own women loyal to them. Then what is left? What good is this money? What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? You're going to rot eventually. And the money will be left behind for someone else to toss around. So the bottom line is, all of you running after unimportant things in life, including money, fame and power, because this is the struggle of humanity today. Man is running after desires, not necessities. We are not focused on necessities. We are focused on luxuries, desire. And in the process, we are ignoring and neglecting the most important entity of our lives, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have no relationship with Him. We don't sit down and talk to Him. So what are some of the ways that we can turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What are some of the practical ways that we can actually establish our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? One of the most powerful and the most effective ways is dhikr, by reading the Quran more frequently. So sit in a part of the day and talk to your Lord. Talk to Allah. Talk to Allah. While He talks to you, read the Quran, let Him speak with you. And read the Quran carefully, slowly, contemplate on the words. Even if you cannot understand them, put an effort into learning them and understanding them. Even if it's a verse a day, even if it's one line from the Quran a day, that is some relationship. Better than nothing. In our busy lives, we don't even give. If one of you are seen neglecting your children, if one of you men, listen to me right now, one of you was seen neglecting your children, clearly, and people could see that you don't give time to your children, you're running around, you're going out with your friends, and then you don't sit with your children, you don't teach them, you don't talk to them, you don't have a relationship with them, people will think you're a bad person. Just a careless guy who doesn't care about his children. Right? Imagine Allah is supposed to be more important than our children and our parents, and even the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The second person in the hierarchy is Rasulullah himself sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the topmost is Allah. our Creator. So if we neglect our duties towards Allah, if we are ignoring Allah, we're not paying attention to His importance in lives, then we are worse than those who are neglecting the children and their parents. So imagine there's an elderly parent, bedridden, someone who needs you, and you don't spend time with them. SubhanAllah, Allahu Akbar. I saw my grandfather on deathbed. Before he died, he had a stroke and he had bed sore. You know what bed sore is? Bed sore is when you are on bed for long, you get wounds, you get injuries because you are on the bed and you're not moving. So the friction of your body with the bed causes your body to have injuries. So my grandfather at times had injuries because he was on bed for nearly 3 months. We could not help it. There was no way that we can save him from it. We could not think of any way. This was 20 years ago. And if we could put ourselves underneath to save him from this pain, we couldn't do it. Right? Imagine if we walked away from him. Imagine if we just left him like that and we walked away. People would think you don't deserve even water, let alone food. We're such cruel people. You did that to your grandfather, your father. Right? So what about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Who is more deserving of our love, our compassion? Okay, Allah doesn't need our compassion. We need Allah's compassion. But we need to pay attention to Allah. We need to keep Him in our minds. He has to have an active, consistent presence. And one of the ways to do that is to read the Quran. Read the Quran and you will see your relationship, your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala build. One of the best ways to do that is to read the Quran. One of the most practical ways. Even if it's a verse a day. Listen to me carefully. I'm not joking, my brothers. In our busy schedules, as we are busy in all other things except Allah, I know that. But even if we were to read a sentence from the Quran a day with the intention to reach out to Allah, Allah will still forgive you for that. I can guarantee you that. I don't have the pass to Jannah, but I know the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I have understood that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be merciful to you for just making that little effort towards Him. Just reading one sentence of the Quran a day, even one sentence, with the intention that you're trying to reach out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a start. And I'm talking about, this is apart from your salah, this is apart from your other ibadat, the fara'id, for example, in Islam. I'm not talking about fasting and zakat and hajj and things like that. These are the pillars of Islam. These are the bare minimum, basics. I'm talking about something beyond that to establish a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is now our habit. Salah is now aada. We are praying aadatan, you know. This is now part of our system. If we don't pray, something happens to us, right? We are not peaceful. I mean, those who are fortunate, alhamdulillah. So this has become our habit. I'm saying going beyond your habitual system, you know, making an effort in reaching out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, invoking Allah's mercy, actually reaching out to Allah, right? So that Allah can hold you, so that Allah can take you into His own custody. And that's possible when you call upon Him. Imagine when you're a child, you're a baby, you're a toddler. Your mother's love cannot be matched. And when a child screams with pain, I've seen this with my own eyes. I have children. One of them is 3 years old. I know when this child screams, something happens. She fights with one of the cousins. The mother leaves everything. The mother may be doing something for me, preparing food for me, preparing my clothes. She will drop it. She will drop it. And she will run towards the child. She will run. Like she's crazy. She has lost her mind. To see what's wrong with the child. Why did the child scream? And when the child screams, usually what does the child say? Mama. Right? It's natural for the child to scream mama, and it's natural for the mother to respond, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you call upon Him, He is more diligent, He is more responding, He's more loving, He's more compassionate, He's more generous to His slaves when we call upon Him. When I say more, I don't have the measurement, I don't have the imagination to explain Allah's mercy toward us. Some of us, we don't deserve food. We don't deserve the luxuries and the ease we have in life because of our characters. Some of us, right? And still, despite that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides for us. So imagine if we call upon Allah every single day. Oh Allah, just sit alone and just think of Allah and call upon Him. And you will see Allah responding. This is one of the ways to establish a relationship with Him. Another way, a very quick way to get Allah's attention. A very quick way to get Allah's attention. Something that really, really works with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And who told us this? Allah Himself. Sadaqah. Sadaqah secretly. Do sadaqah secretly, not to impress others. You may be doing sadaqah publicly otherwise, but choose very carefully when you do sadaqah secretly, when Allah alone knows that you are doing sadaqah. Apart from you, only Allah knows, and then you see how you have a relationship with your Lord. Then you will see how Allah protects you. You will see how Allah takes away your calamities from you. You will see, Allah will show you. When you do sadaqah, Allah will show you that this train was heading your way and it got turned. Allah turned it away because of your sadaqah, because of your moving towards Allah using sadaqah. Because it's not easy to give sadaqah. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put so much emphasis on sadaqah. Very powerful way to get Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attention. So apart from speaking to Allah, apart from reading the Quran, sadaqah. Another way is maybe get an orphan and support that orphan, fi sabilillah, purely for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not expecting anything from that orphan. And you will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's love for you. You will see, Allah will show you His love to you. Allah will show you that this is my love. Look. And you will recognize it. You will if you have eyes to see, you will recognize that Allah is showing His love to you. And then, finally, one of the last things I want to mention, one of the ways to establish a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, call people to Allah. Become a loyal slave of Allah. Become so loyal to Allah that your life, wherever you are, whoever you with, you are calling to Allah, you're calling people to Allah. And that will have two effects on your life. Number one, you will be constantly reminded yourself that you belong to Allah, you are a slave of Allah, because you're calling others to Allah. So your character will be formed by that. And then you are calling others to Allah, and they are coming to Allah, and as a result, you're getting their reward as well. Da'wah. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is continuously mentioning the stories of the prophets in the Quran. As far as Allah is concerned, businessmen, generals, kings, right, tycoons, and the list goes on, all these people are not important. You know how many powerful people are born in the past? We read about them in histories. We read about them on monuments, right? We know about General Hannibal, right? From Carthage, from current-day Tunisia. He took an army to Rome, to conquer Rome, right? He crossed Alps. He's well known, Alexander the Great, right? He's called the Great because his conquest was so rapid. Within 10 years, from Macedonia, he was in India, in current-day Pakistan. He was fighting a battle in Pakistan. Within 10 years, phenomenal speed, phenomenal territory conquered within a short span of, and then he died. Is he mentioned in the Quran? No. Is Hannibal mentioned in the Quran? No. Is Julius Caesar mentioned in the Quran? No. Is Hadrian mentioned in the Quran? No. No. Marcus Aurelius? No. A great thinker. So Allah doesn't care about the kuffar and their achievements and their money and their influence and their power. Or even Muslims. I mean, I'm sure they were. Allah only cares about people who were calling to Him, towards Him, and this person may be without clothes. Some of the prophets, they lived very simple lives, maybe with one cloth. They're walking around calling people to Allah. Allah mentions them in the Quran. What we know historically about Yahya alayhi salam, he used to wear sheepskin. And look at how Allah pays a tribute to him in the Quran in Surah Maryam. Allah mentions specifically about him that no one before him was given a name like this. And when you pick up the tafsirs of the Quran, the ulama, they have two views that Yahya, the name given to him, either this was the only time in humanity someone was given this name, or the second view is that no one with this character was given a name like this before. So his character, his personality was unique. Why does Allah mention this man in sheepskin? Today, if you saw him walking on the walk, if you saw him knocking your door, you would call the police. I can guarantee you. You saw a prophet like Yahya knocking your door. The description we have received, historically speaking, from extra Quranic material, right? You would call the police. Subhanallah. And some of the Sahaba who gave everything in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you saw them, like Rabi bin Amir when he turned up in the court of Rustam, dressed in rags, completely filled with dust, the Persians, they mocked him. How dare you come to our court, us civilized people, you barbarians from the desert, right? But Allah loved them more than anything else in the planet. How do I know that? These are the people honored by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we still remember them to this day, in this masjid, in this musalla, in this place, in the 21st century, in London. I'm talking about Rabi bin Amir. Okay, Allah mentioned these people in the Quran, the prophets who gave da'wah in His path, who are calling to Allah. So if you become a da'iyah, you are in the custody of Allah. If you are connected to da'wah, if you are someone who is a servant of da'wah, directly or indirectly, if you are involved in da'wah, if you are involved in calling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are in the custody of Allah, because you are one of His loyal slaves. You are His messenger. You are in His protection. If kings can protect their messengers, taking messages back and forth to other kings and other generals and other territories, and then they have full immunity, these messengers, what about those who are taking the message of Allah to other parts of the world? You will be protected. Your children will be protected. Last point, and I'll end. Your children will be protected. Allah will ensure that your children, Allah will keep Iman alive in them. How do I know that? Surah Al-Kahf, the story of Qadr. When he is building the wall, Musa is shocked. What is this? These people, they didn't even feed us. They didn't even ask us to sit and, they didn't treat us nicely. Why are you building a wall for these people? Why are you doing a favor? Why are you favoring these people? These people don't deserve the favor. Further later on when he explains, he says, you see, there was a treasure under the wall, and that treasure belonged to two orphans. Right? And because the town is not trustworthy, people are not good, the wall would have fallen and the treasure would have been exposed, and then these two orphans would have lost their treasure. Long story short, I am sure there were other orphans in the town. I'm sure, possibly, potentially, who knows, there were other orphans in the town or around the town. Why these two orphans? These two orphans, And Qadr, Allah is making someone like Qadr. Who is Qadr, by the way? Qadr is someone who has received Musa to learn from him. Musa, in Tafsir we are told Musa had a thought in his heart that I am a messenger of Allah and there is no one more learned than me on the planet. So Allah to teach him a lesson, to humble him, someone like a Rasul, to humble him, Allah tells him, okay, hold on a second, go to Qadr, go. Go and see, and you will see something new. So to humble Musa, Allah sends him to, this is Qadr, this is his status, this is his value. And Allah uses someone like him to work like a laborer. He is bricklaying, he is lifting stones, putting mud. Allah is making him work like an ordinary laborer. Yes? To do what? To serve two orphans. To serve two orphans. Right? Why? وَكَانَ أَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا. Allah. وَكَانَ أَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا. Because their father was a worthy man. He was a pious man. He was a man loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah loved the father, Allah is taking care of his children. Using someone like Khadr to build the wall to protect them. So if you sacrifice your time, your effort, your blood, your sweat for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, giving da'wah, calling people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do you think Allah will leave your children without guidance? If you have sacrificed for Allah, you think Allah will abandon your children? Allah will not take care of them? Never. Never. If we as humans have the courtesy and the maruah to take care of the children of our friends or people we love, Allah is far greater than us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is far greater in returning his favor. So any one of you, let me remind you finally, sacrificing anything in the path of Allah, in particular da'wah, calling people to Allah, whether it's in the form of the books you have written, or you have called people to Allah verbally, or in any other way, remember, if you are sincere, Allah will bring the effects in your children. From your children, Allah will continue to create a'immah. Allah will continue to create du'at who will continue with this work. Inshallah ta'ala. Wa akhiru da'wana. Alhamdulillah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين. My respected brothers, the point I was going to make finally is that if we want a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then some of the ways I've already stated, talking to Allah or let Allah talk to you, reading the Quran is one of the best ways to establish a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a practical relationship with Allah. That's something that works. And giving sadaqah, taking care of orphans, for example, that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a lot. Even in this story of Qadr, there is a lesson for us that Qadr is doing something for orphans that belonged to a noble family. In some of the tafsir we are told that this was not a direct father, by the way. وَكَانَ أَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا does not mean that the orphans, and Allah is not talking about their direct father. One of the ancestors who was a great man who sacrificed in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah protected his genealogy. Allah protected his children. Right? And this is a proof that if you do something in the path of Allah, if you give your time and your effort and your sweat to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will not throw it away. Allah will not waste it. You will see the effects while you are alive and when you die. You will see the effects. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who are diligent in establishing relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether it's through sadaqah, da'wah, or reading the Quran, or reaching out to Allah through other means. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept us. We all ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us lives with Iman and take us with Iman. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة للذين كفروا واغفر لنا ربنا إنك أنت العزيز الحكيم. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وأقم الصلاة.